Well, good evening. It's Barb at Barb's Crafts and Inspiration. I haven't been able to make too many videos. I've made a few shorts, and for those of you that have watched them, you know that I've injured myself. And for those of you that didn't know that I injured myself, I'll give you just a little brief summary here. It's been, it was August the 5th on a Wednesday. I tripped at work. I had some stuff in my hand, and I did not know there was a pallet down there just as I barely turned the corner. And I stubbed my toe on the pallet, one of the real heavy, thick plastic ones. I went face down first, and my knee hit that pallet really, really hard. My right knee flipped me over, and the floor is it's got a tile, but it's concrete, really. I landed flat on my back. It was awful. And I had my hair up like I do today. I had my hair up, and I call it my little Pentecostal bun. And it helped me not to have an injury on my head or my neck or my back. I mean, my bun didn't help my back, but I wasn't hurt, but in these areas. But I knew my knee was hurt. So when they got me to the urgent care, did x-rays, I had fractured my kneecap. When the doctor came out, I said, please tell me it's just bruised. And she said, no, ma'am. She said, you have fractured your kneecap. So they sent me to an orthopedic, and of course, they put a temporary brace on it then. And then, let's see, that was on a Wednesday. And the following Thursday, I think it was, I went to the orthopedic. And they did more x-rays. And then they gave me this other brace. Some of you saw it. I did a little short, where it's got these round boxes on both sides. And you flip the button. If you're going to walk, it stiffens so your knee is stiff or your leg straight. And if you're going to just sit down, you clip it back up and it'll bend. So, of course, I've been off work since then. Now, for those of you that are around us, a lot of you are a lot younger than me. Some of you is older than me, but you're still working. It's quite a concern. It is for me. That's why I'm working, because I need to continue on with my life. You know what I'm saying? So I was concerned about it, very concerned. But I prayed, and I knew I wasn't ready to go back to work. The first time I went back, I went on the 11th, and then I went back to the orthopedic doctor on the 20th, which was last Thursday. But I prayed and prayed and prayed before I got there, and I said, Lord, please let the doctor and Workman's Comp and the company not send me back to work too soon. I'm just not ready. Well, I can't even drive yet. And I was really worried about it. So I got in there, and the doctor, I told him what I was concerned about. He said, well, you don't have to worry about the company, and you don't have to worry about Workman's Comp. He said, I'm the one that says whether you go back to work or not. He said, you're not going back to work yet. You can't even drive yet. So he said, I want 2 more weeks. I'll see you in 2 more weeks, which next Thursday, September the 3rd will be when I go back again, providing my knee is, you see how my knee does. It's improving. It is improving. Now, I can't walk around without this brace on, because it does. I can tell it still hurts, and it's not well. So I'm still trying to be careful. And I've prayed and prayed and prayed about my the Workman's Comp money. So it's 66% of your weekly pay. So I said, well, okay. Well, then the lady that had my case, she said, I'm telling you this because I know the Lord heard my prayer. And it's not just me. This is the way I'm in the state of Indiana. So I don't know how your Workman Comps is where you work. But I want to emphasize that I really prayed for favor. I asked the Lord to give me favor. So she told me, this lady called me, she said, now, how this works is, it's the average, it will be 66% of the average of 52 weeks of work. Not just what your paycheck is now. Well, If you all have followed my channel, what little bit I have been able to produce videos, I have worked a lot of overtime, lots of overtime, not knowing this was ever going to happen. I didn't know this was going to happen, but it was in such to my favor that 66% of the average of 52 weeks is more. The check is more than my normal 40-hour pay. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. So that is such a blessing. I had no idea. We do things, we worry. That's another thing why I want to talk to you a little bit. We worry about things, and I do. I'm as human as you are. But I prayed about it, and I had no idea. All those hours I was working in, I knew I needed to work. I'm trying to pay things off. I'd like to retire again one of these days. And I'm 73 years old, and the average, we were working so much overtime. Well, we had mandatory for a long, long time, and it'll probably come back up again soon. But, my minimum was 45 hours. The regular hours is 40. But anyway, my body's getting tired. So that's one thing. And I was angry with myself. I was so angry with myself for not paying attention. We have safety meetings all the time at work. Why didn't I look? So I was angry with myself with that. Then I got worried. Well, first, let me back up. I was angry. Just downright mad at myself for messing that up, messing myself up. And then I've had to depend on some other people to help me. If I needed to go to the doctor or, when I want to go to church. I just finally got to go to one church service this past Sunday. I was so tickled about that. And then I was anxious, worried. All these things come upon me. And I know what when I pray and ask God to give me peace, I had a lot of people praying for me. A lot of people's been helping me. Mowing my grass, bringing me food, sending me cards, sending me money. It's been a blessing. Flowers, their services, whatever they can do for me. And I was thinking I know I'm not the only one that gets real upset when something like this happens. And you think, why did I do that? Why did this happen to me? Well, here's another big plus. Going back to thinking about all the overtime that I've worked, I was so tired. The Lord knew I was running myself down to the ground because I felt I got to do it. I got it. Of course, mandatory, you have, at the company I work for, you have to work 5 hours. I was working well over 5 hours every week. The Lord knew I was running myself crazy, just running myself down. Guess what? I've had to rest. So it has really changed my thinking. And I said this recently on a Facebook, a little video I put on. We think this stops our life. It stops. I can't drive. I can't work in my yard. I've had to humble myself and people have to help me. But in reality, who is living my life if my life has stopped? I'm still breathing. This is a chapter in my life. And I want to tell you that. I want you to get a hold of this. Yes, it has set me back a little bit. But the flip side is I'm resting. The other side of the corner is I need to be more careful with my health because I want to live a good quality life. I want to stay in my home as long as I can. And if you're not in your home, you still want in your own home and you've had to go to an assisted living or someplace, you've had to go in with your daughter and her husband or your son and his wife. You want to really feel good and help out wherever you can help. So I just wanted to tell you, we're not by ourselves, but maybe I don't want anybody getting hurt and have to find this out yourself. Accidents happen. I'm not saying the Lord made me do that, not at all. I am saying that he talked to me while after I did it. I'm thankful for that. And I found this article in one of my church booklets. And it's so good because some of these things, I hate to admit it, but some of these things I am guilty of. And it says how to be miserable in 16 steps. And if I wanted to, I could probably fall into every one of these, but I don't want to. One is use I as often as possible. You know, you've heard the me. Well, I. Always, number 2, always be sensitive to slights. Just let everything bother you. Let everything hurt your feelings. Well, what did they mean by that? Have a chip on your shoulder. Have an attitude. 3, be jealous and envious. My. How many people does that hit? 4, think only about yourself. Wow. How many of us get in that frame of mind? I'm thinking only about me. I can't help what anybody else to do. It's only about me. This is all about me. And then 5, talk only about yourself. When you got people coming over and visiting. I caught myself the other day. Somebody coming over lovingly caring for me. And there I was just talking about myself. And I thought, stop. They have problems. They have needs. They want to talk. Stop. And then 6, trust no one. Don't trust anybody. Yeah, we live in a world that it's very hard sometimes to trust people. And you better be careful. On the phone, scams, perpetrators, people out in the stores, out on the road, knocking on your door. Be careful. But when you know, I'm telling you, I know in my church, those people are godly people. I don't live with them, but I have seen them in and out. They have been here at my house and helped me many, many times. And I've tried to help them. There's people you can trust. But this is saying, just don't trust nobody. Or be miserable. Don't trust nobody. 7, never forget a criticism. Oh my goodness. How many marriages have been broke up because somebody could not forget a criticism? How many friendships have been broken? Totally destroyed because somebody could not forget a criticism. It's hard to do, isn't it? But we should love that person, care for that person more than we care for our feelings that possibly 99% probably of the time it wasn't even meant the way we thought it was, said or acted. And number 8, always expect to be appreciated. You know, that's one thing that's really happening in this world. Everybody's yes, I want to be appreciated. I want to appreciate the people, other people. Yes, I want to be appreciated. But there are times that happens, you have to do things under the scene, behind the curtain that nobody knows you did it. You did it though. Working, volunteering, and somebody else is getting all the credit. You see what I'm saying there? Man, oh man, but you always want to be appreciated. But the big thing is, are you appreciating everybody else? And then, I'll say you. I'm talking to me too. And then number 9 is be suspicious. Now, I have a problem there because sometimes I get in my mind that something's not quite right. And I try to figure things out. And a lot of times it's totally opposite of what I think it is. But sometimes I have hit it. But always be suspicious. No. And 10, listen greedily to what others say about you. Mercy. If they're over here complimenting you, boy, you got an ear. You really got a big ear. You want to hear that. So it goes back to me. Me, 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 me. This is the whole title, remember, How to Be Miserable in 16 Steps. 10. Oh, no, that was 10. 11. Always look for faults in others. Whoa. What does the scriptures talk about that? What did Jesus say about that? He said, I may be paraphrasing, but to be careful. Be careful talking about others. So why are you talking about a person has a speck in their eye and you got a mote in your eye? What if they've got a fault? And it says always look for faults in that. Why? Why would we want to look for faults in others? And then 12, shirk your duties if you can. You know, when I was little, there was 3 of us girls. My brother was the baby. So mother cooked supper. It was up to us girls. We had to do the dishes. It was just a given. Now, I was pretty little, so for a long, long time, I didn't have to wash the dishes. But I had to take the dishes from the table to the kitchen. We had a dining room. And we always ate at the table. We always ate at the table. So I would take the dishes to the kitchen, and I was supposed to wipe off the table. If I could handle the broom, sometimes I didn't do very well, and one of my sisters would take the broom away from me. But when I got a little bit bigger, and it was my turn to wash the dishes, I always had to go to the bathroom. The girls, my sisters, still tell me about it. Every time, because we alternated. Every time I would wash a few of them, and boom, all of a sudden I had to go to the bathroom. I'm just telling you. I'm just confessing here. I was shirking my duty. Well, that was at home. But how many things on a job or your family or someone asks you to do something and you shirk that duty? You say you're going to do it, but you really don't. 13, do as little as possible for others. How many times have we had a mindset like that? Because it's still all about me. I don't have time. Do as little as possible for others. We need each other. Maybe you can't do a whole lot, but whatever you can do to help somebody is a blessing. And then sulk, number 15. Oh, no, 14. Never forget a service that you've rendered. Okay, so you volunteered something, and now you're going to remind everybody all the time. My goodness. How many of us get caught up in these traps? And then 15, sulk if people are not grateful for your favors. Well, are you doing the favors? Are we doing the favors so we can get acknowledged and appreciated and thanked? Are we doing it from the depths of our heart because we want to do something? We want to be anonymous. We want to be kind. And then 16, insist on consideration and respect. Wow. You know, thinking about how to be miserable, these are miserable. These are miserable people. Now, some of these, like a few of these things, I felt like I could fall into, especially with my knee being hurt. But it's just pretty stupid for me to even think about that. God's been good to me. People's been good to me. And I want to be good to people. I want to, if you insist on consideration and respect, when you respect other people, they respect you. So if you don't want to be miserable, and any of these things fit in your life, stop, pause, think about it. Rerun the video. Write it down. Keep rerunning it until you get everything wrote down. Whatever it is that you're working on, so that you don't fall into that trap, because we don't want to be miserable people. You know, I've heard people say they died a miserable person. They didn't like nobody and they didn't like themselves. Let's don't do that. I am getting older, and I want to grow old gracefully with a loving spirit, a kind spirit, and do whatever I can and get myself out of the way. Am I there yet? No, but I am sure wanting to work at it. Because like I said, I know I'm a talker, and sometimes I get I in there too many times. Sometimes my body's just tired, and I don't want to go do anything. So, sorry, my clock just started chiming. But I wanted to share that with you. I want to share you my update. And you might have seen this on one of my shorts. This is where I made those little blocks. I can't get to my sewing machines downstairs, but I had material up here, and so and thread, because I'm working on a quilt over there on my couch. I sewed the sides and this, just hand stitched it. Took a piece of material, folded it over. I know you can't see this, but anyway, I hand sewed that, made me a little strap, and my phone just fits right in there. So when I'm walking around with this brace on my leg, because I don't always have pockets, but I want to have my phone. So that way, now I can carry my phone around. And if I would fall and be unconscious, then my phone's not going to do me any good. But if somebody calls me, they're not going to worry about me if I don't get to my phone real quick. Anyway, I want to share that little crafty thing with you. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you understood what I was saying. Because we don't want to be miserable people. We don't want to make other people miserable. So I guess I better get off here. This is probably one of my longer videos, but I've missed you guys. I've just missed you. Thank you so much for every person that has subscribed and liked and commented. Thank you for prayers. I want to get back to what normal is, even going back to work, but I see that I'm going to have to really pay attention to my body. And just do, now this part on the minimum, when it comes to mandatory, if it's 5 hours, I need to just work the 5. Just work the 45 hours and don't try to work over. But God bless you. Jesus loves you. And thank you for tuning in. I hope to be making some more videos in the real near future. You take care, and I'll take care, and I'll see you later.